Today's review is a double review. 2 beers for the price of 1. Yep, we're going to be reviewing the last 2 beers from the Beer52 Croatia box. That's these 2, both from Varionica Craft Brewery in Croatia. One's a Siesta Session IPA and the other one's a Pale Ale. But what they're going to be like, keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing 2 beers from the last 2 beers that we've got from the Beer52 Croatia box. A little bit disappointed with the Croatia box. I had high hopes, but unfortunately they reverted back to style, Beer52, and I've decided to cancel my membership again. I just don't feel that the beers carry enough weight. They're not worth that money. £3 a bottle or a can, small bottles. I'd rather pay a little bit more and get a decent beer where I know I'm going to get good quality. I just find everything's very average, and when you're getting quality that's a little bit lower than supermarket quality, you realise that, yeah, there's a magazine and there's a snack, but I don't think it represents good value for money. Talking of snack, we're also going to, because we had 2 snacks this month, this is a crunchy corn combo, which is a smokehouse barbecue. We're going to try these as well. So it's going to be a packed review. So let's get tucked in quickly. So I don't want you to be sitting around for 20 minutes watching this review. So I'm going to open this one first. This is a Pale Ale. As I said, a Varionica. It's not Veronica, is it? It's Varionica Craft Brewery. 5.2% this is. What else does it say? Selected combination of malts, American varieties of hops. So it's American Pale Ale. Rich taste, full aroma and amber colour. So it's much more on that sort of, that sort of West Coast American Pale Ale. It says here that it's got Chinook, Sentinel, Simcoe and Columbus. Very West Coast type of hops. We're going to get more sort of hoppy, malty bitterness. But let's crack this one open and we'll try this one first. As I say, we're expecting a darker colour, so let's see. Yeah, copper coloured. Very sort of West Coast traditional. We've got 3 fingers of sort of a tan, sort of soapy head and a very lot. So you see the carbonation there sticking to the glass. A lot of carbonation. It's got a slight haze and it's very sort of copper coloured. Let's see what the aroma's like. Yeah, I mean, very typical, quite sort of subdued, really. We're getting a bit of orange and passion fruit in there. And there is a sort of maltiness as well. Let's get tucked in. Cheers, everyone. It's light. It's a little bit too fizzy. There is a sort of malty, piney bitterness on the back end. It's a lot more maltier than a lot of craft beers that we have. But it's, even though that bitterness bite is there on the back end, it comes and goes quite quickly. And then the flavour sort of floods away. I mean, in terms of the sort of the fruity flavours, yeah, you're getting a bit of orange and orange peel. It's got a slightly sort of marmalade-y, but much more that sort of thick cut marmalade, that sort of more that bitter sort of severe orange sort of flavour, opposed to the sort of light and quite sweet orange flavour. It's not bad, but it's a little watery, it's thin, it's not got huge amounts of flavour there. There's not lots going on. And as I say, it's quite thin in terms of the mouthfeel. I mean, it's bang average, this. It's a sort of beer that you just think, it's difficult to think of something that you can really pick out to describe it. Any redeeming features? It's easy to drink. It's got that orangey sort of bitterness on the back end. And that is pretty much it. In fact, I think it's time to open the snack. We're going to open the snack. So these are the crunchy corn combo, smokehouse barbecue. So I'm expecting something smoky bacon. I mean, it's quite a strange sort of, almost looks like, something that you'd scrape off the floor, really. You've got little bits of sort of like little round hoops, and then you've got like these flakes that look a bit like a sort of cornflake. We'll try it. Yeah, it's very crunchy. smoky bacon flavour. Nice taste, an interesting sort of consistency, because you've got these, also got these sort of hard corn bits, which is like the corn that we get a lot, but it's a bit lighter, it's not so hard. Yeah, it's all right. Wash it down with this. It actually makes that beer taste a bit better with the smoky bacon flavour. So, not bad snacks. Again, not something that I would rush out and want to buy, because I'm not a big fan. I'm not really a big fan of that sort of corn snack, really, because it's hard. It's got these little corn bits. If you ever get those sort of mixed sort of nuts, or even like the Indian, what's it called? I can't remember the name of it now. The Indian sort of mixed nut sort of thing. You always get these bits of corn, and they're always the bits that are left, because sometimes they can be hard. And they're not too hard. They've got a nice crunch to them. But again, even though it's got smoky bacon, it's not full of flavour. And it's not the sort of snack that I would go for. So that's a bit average. The beer's a bit average. I'm getting through this beer though. I'm not going to score because I'm in 2, and I think it'd just make the review too long. And I'm conscious that some of my recent reviews are sort of getting to that 15 minutes. And I must admit, when I'm watching beer reviewers, 15 minutes is about as much as I can probably want to watch. So I'm trying to keep them down a bit, get rid of the waffle. So let's crack on. Second beer. So again, Varionica Craft Brewery. This is a Siesta Session IPA. This comes in at 4.4%. And what does it say? We'll have a quick look at the magazine, see what it says about this one. It's a richly hopped IPA, very light, very drinkable. Fine tropical aromas that invite you to come back for more. Well, I think this is going to be a bit more tropical then, probably lighter. Mosaic and Cascade. Let's crack it open, see what it's all about. Fresh glass. Yeah, well actually it's still quite dark. I mean, it's not as copper coloured as the last one, but it's definitely much more. I mean, that to me looks like a lager. I mean, it's looks like a sort of maltier, darker lager. It's a bit lighter at the bottom. It's got a haze, but it's quite a subtle haze. You can almost see through that. Half a finger of head as well. That won't stick around for very long. It doesn't look. It looks again bang average. Let's see what it smells like. Well, there's very little aroma on there. You're getting a subtleness of a tropical sort of slight tropical aroma, but it's very difficult to think whether it's mango, if it's got a slight peachy aroma. That's about it. It's a very lacking in terms of aroma. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Thin, watery, overly carbonated. It tastes like a lager with a slight different taste to it. Tropical. You're clutching at straws if you say that this is tropical. There's a slight fruity flavour, but it's quite slight. To me, it tastes like I mean, again, I hate beers that look like this when you think, oh, if I put it in a dirty glass, this was a clean glass, but the head has literally disappeared. As much as it's quite fizzy in the mouth, it looks pretty dead in terms of the glass. And again, you know, it doesn't make me want to drink it. There's nothing to it. It tastes like a lager that's been sort of sat by a window which is in the sun. That's what it tastes like. There's nothing really. The slight tropical flavour is so subtle that you've got to really be looking for it. To me, it's just like a slightly sort of a more floral sort of lager, a little bit more, I don't know what you would say, yeah, a little bit more flowery in its flavour, a little bit more It's very difficult to say that there's a nice fruit flavour there. It's so, I mean, these are disappointing beers. These are really sort of poor beers. If you had these beers in a pub, you'd probably say, can have these. I think there's something wrong with these. I think there's something wrong with the pipes, because they're so lacking in any sort of flavour. They feel like a real budget beer, and I've paid £3 for a small beer here, and it's not good value at all. Really not good value. When you think of the sort of craft beers we have, you're gonna have to pay £1 more, and you're getting more beer, and you're getting twice the quality. Very disappointing, but it really sums up the Beer52 box, certainly this month, but certainly lots of months. If I'm think back to Beer52 over all the months that I've had it, there's been some all right beers, and that's about it. I've never had there was a couple where the Kajavek Road Trip, I think it was called, and I think that was part of the Polish, I'm sure it was Polish box. And that was above average. That was a really good beer. But I have since that box had it again, because I bought, when I left Beer50 the first time, I had all these sort of credits that I'd racked up. So I thought, I'll use that and I'll put it towards a box of beers, and I'll just buy some of the beers that I've liked before. There was a few others as well. And that Kajavek Road Trip I thought was really good, so I had 3 or 4 of those. But when I've had it again, I'm thinking, yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. It's above average, but it isn't a great beer, and I probably overrated that one. So Beer52, let me know what you think about it. I'm disappointed. I don't know if I'm looking for another beer. I feel that I know what I'm looking for in terms of beer now, so I don't feel I need to have a subscription. I can go to the Fuss Club, Craft Metropolis, and go to couple of my local bottle shops if I just want to buy a couple at a time, and I can find good beers in the style and the sort of breweries that I know make good beers. And I know the sort of hops that I want in my beers as well. But these are bang on average. As I said, if I had them in a pub, I'd probably send them back. They're that bad. I mean, this one now, look at it. It's a dead man walking, that is. That's the sort of beer that's been sitting there, and then the next morning you sort of think, oh, someone didn't finish that, and that's what it looks like. Disappointing, both of those beers. So both thumbs down. I'm not going to score them, as I said, but if I were scoring them, they would probably be in the low 60s. That's, if you're lucky. So very average. The snack, it's all right. That's what it is. I thought the other snack that we had, the Poppadom ones, that was much better. But again, I get Beer52, their snacks are always very average as well. So let this be a warning to you. If you're new to craft beer, then give Beer52 a try. There'll be a lot of stuff that you'd be thinking this is good, and you start sort of knowing the sort of styles that you like. But if you're a craft beer, if you've been drinking craft beer for more than 6 months or a year, then I think that a lot of these sort of boxes don't give out the promise that you think. You're thinking you're getting quality craft beer that's better than supermarket beers, but at the end of the day, I think that they're really bog standard craft beers, and it's, if you like craft beer, then you will not go for those. That's what I think. So I hope you enjoyed this double review. I hope it's given you an insight in terms of Beer52 if you're not already a subscriber. If you're a lapse and you're thinking about going back, you probably need to think again. If you're already a subscriber, maybe you just like the fact that you're getting 8 beers and it's sent to you each month, and it's something different. But for me, I'm just not getting enough quality. I don't want to sound like a craft beer snob, but to be honest, I do feel that I am getting a bit snobbish when it comes to things like Beer52. I would rather pay £5 for a 440ml can of beer from the likes of Cloudwater or Daya or Verdant or Polly's. You're just getting a much better beer. So that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the review, and until the next one, keep on rocking.